Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you another DBZ Top 5. Yes, it's that time of the week again, so let's get right into my Top 5 list. Now, seeing as how, Resurrection F has had a very overwhelmingly awesome stay here in the US with its limited theatrical release. I think the best part about it is the fact of seeing so many DBZ fans and so many anime fans and just people who just got to see the movie overall enjoy it. And it was a pretty awesome experience seeing and hearing people's reactions towards Resurrection F and how successful it was financially and critically over here in the US. It was pretty badass to get to see that. But overall, because of all this awesome Resurrection stuff, I just decided to give you a top 5 on my list of top 5 best moments in Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Majority of this is just stuff that I thought were cool and that I really liked. So majority of this is just everything I really liked from Resurrection F, basically. Resurrection F was a badass, awesome movie that really put Battle of Gods, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F definitely are just two amazing Dragon Ball Z movies that just need to stay together. They're just like side by side, just really awesome, epic movies that I really hope spawn a third movie and possibly even future movies. But we'll have to see what happens, seeing as how now that we have the sequel Dragon Ball Z series, Dragon Ball Super, I don't know how that will work out in the future, but seeing as how incredibly successful these movies have been, not only over there in Japan or any other, but in majority of the entire world, I think the entire world has really spoken out in saying that, even though Dragon Ball Z is kind of like, to a certain extent, overstayed its welcome in certain areas throughout the years, it still has a significant fan base that wants to see more, and I think that's really awesome. But overall, let's just get right into this list. First off, with all my top 5s, they're subjective, they're my personal thoughts, and this one is basically really subjective, seeing as how these are moments that I really liked. So of course, in the comment section below, when I'm done, give me your top 5 of best moments that you personally thought were amazing things that you liked from Resurrection F. But that being said, let's get into this top 5 list. Starting up at number 5 has to go to the Z Warriors fighting the Frieza army. Now, hands down, one of the biggest downfalls from Battle of Gods was the fact that no one, with the exception of, Goku and Vegeta, really got to fight and really, show what they can really do. Because even though Goku and Vegeta are the main characters of the series, a lot of people, there's gigantic fan bases for individual characters. And I like the fact that with this new movie, they got to give, fan service to characters that don't really get to do a lot of things. Like Piccolo, even Gohan, Krillin, Tien Shenhan, and of course Master Roshi. Granted, some of the things they pull off in the fighting, portions of this movie don't really make sense if you, start to think about it too much. But overall, this movie and this specific sequence is supposed to be, what it is. It's fan service and it's supposed to be action, fun, entertainment. So that's the point of the, freaking sequence in the movie. But overall, I thought it was just really cool that even though we already knew that inevitably Goku would have to fight Frieza on his own, and maybe Vegeta would have some kind of hope, some kind of help along the way. It was just nice to see that you had all these other throwaway villains in the build-up towards Goku versus Frieza, when you have all the individual characters fighting against these characters, and it was really awesome. It's not like just one character gets to fight, then another character 2 hours later. No, every single character fights simultaneously right against another character, and I really liked and enjoyed that. Overall, moving off of that, going to number 4 on this list has to go down to Goku and Vegeta versus Whis. Their whole training center, I just love that. It was really interesting from the ending of Battle of Gods to get the little sneak peek that Whis is a very extraordinarily powerful character, and possibly even more powerful than Beerus, the Lord of the God of Destruction himself. And it was really cool to see a glimpse into the power of Whis. And I love the whole fact of, Goku and Vegeta are on their planet trying to train with Whis, trying to get stronger and stronger. And I like their whole moments together over there at that planet. And I also really enjoyed Whis' teaching methods. And I also like the fact that majority of this movie, even though on the surface isn't so obvious, but I liked when you go in depth with it. I like how we specifically tries to teach Goku and Vegeta how to become stronger characters, and how he simplifies it. Like, this is your problem, this is your weaknesses, this is what you need to do to become more stronger and more powerful. Of course, I don't want to go into too much spoiler territory as to what those specific lessons are, but I just really enjoyed that, and I thought it was really awesome how those lessons carry on throughout the entire film. And does it ever get resolved? Well, I guess you have to wait and see the movie if you've not seen it already. But that being said, going to number 3 on this list has to go down to Goku vs. Frieza. Goku vs. Frieza is the third major final boss battle of the movie. It's essentially on the posters. It's basically what you went into the movie to see, which was Goku vs. Frieza. You have an amazing battle. And I think, regardless of how I may personally feel or how fans around the world may personally feel about Frieza being the main boss villain in this movie, regardless of any personal feelings towards that, I just liked the fight overall. I thought it was an amazing, badass fight. Is it better than their first one? I don't know. I have to rewatch the Namek fight between Super Saiyan Goku and full-powered Frieza. I have to rewatch it, but I just loved how perfectly executed this fight was. It was definitely far superior than prior fights we've seen in the movies. Hell, maybe even Goku versus Beerus. I mean, even though I like Beerus more as a villain in comparison to Frieza, I think the great thing about the specific sequence in the movie is that because they got to test out the waters with their 3D animation for, animating DBZ fights, they definitely perfected that in this specific fight, where Goku, every single time he's fighting Frieza, and every time Frieza's fighting, Goku in their new transformations, which is not really that big of a spoiler, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan and Golden Frieza. I thought it was just wonderfully executed animation-wise. Like, the animation, every single point is just amazing. It's an A++ when it comes to the animation of that fight. And I think it's really awesome just how it continues to drag on, and how, like, Goku just dominates Frieza, and how Frieza's just completely unrelenting and just does not want to quit until Goku's dead and all this stuff. The fight overall is an epic, badass fight. It really depends on your personal preference, which one is better. I mean, granted, the argument could be made that the first battle is better, or maybe Goku versus Beerus is better. It really depends on your subjective opinion, but I love this fight more, mostly because of the execution, the fight sequences overall, and of course, obviously, the transformations and the animation style was definitely all on point. But moving off of that, going to number 2 on this list of moments and things I really loved about Resurrection F has to go down to Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. Yes, if you've been looking at any of my DBZ videos in the past, or even looking at my Instagram or anything, stuff like that, you know that I love Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. I personally, going into the movie, I really had like a 50-50 overall idea of Jaco, because I really didn't know how he was going to fit within this new universe, because he's never really been established in prior sequences in other properties with Dragon Ball Z. I mean, granted, he's relatively a new addition to the universe, but we never really got to see him do anything with and interact with other characters other than just Bulma, and that's pretty much it. But I like how they kind of address the fact how he comes in, and every single moment where Jaco's in this movie is just 10 times more better. It's much more comedic. He has Jaco the Galactic Patrolman has the best moments in Resurrection F. I know people will make the argument, no, Vegeta's moments are better, no, Goku's moments the fights are better. No, Jaco the Galactic Patrolman makes this movie awesome for me. I want, after seeing his performance in this movie, and I love the English dub for him. He was just so awesome, and after watching this movie, I want to see more Jaco. I want to see him in Dragon Ball Super. I want him to have his own animated series. I want to see a Jaco the Galactic Patrolman movie. I want to see a movie dedicated to this character. He was so funny and hysterical. I loved how serious he took his job as a police cop. As a freaking space cop, if you will. and I loved how serious he got every time he was talking to Bulma, like about time travel and how like that was a galactic offense. And I liked the moments where he like pulled out a camera and was like, "Oh, can you get a picture with me and Lord Beerus?" I just loved all his moments. He was a complete, utter, amazing new addition to the series, and I just hope there's way more of him. But that being said, moving off of that, let's get into some honorable mentions that did not get in this list, but specifically were awesome and I personally loved. That being said, first off, Krillin is cool. Krillin fucking was awesome in this movie. It was really cool to see him do his thing. I like the fact that he was a cop in this movie, and the fact that, like, it showed a little glimpse of, like, what the Z Warriors do when they're not, like, specifically saving the world, and they have, like, real jobs, and I really like that. And I also really enjoyed Android 18's comment when Krillin leaves, and she's just like, he's so cool. I just loved that. I loved their relationship together. It was awesome. Frieza in Hell was also a really comedic moment. The Pilaf gang getting paid for once was also pretty hysterical. Bulma giving Frieza shit was also completely entertaining, because Bulma, even though she was on Namek, she never really interacted with Frieza, and I thought it was finally cool to get that in this movie. Frieza scared of Beerus was also hysterical. I love the moment where the fight just stops immediately between Frieza and Goku. Spoilers. And then freaking Frieza, like, sees Beerus and he's like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? Because Beerus is there. Completely hysterical. And also, to top it all off of honorable mentions that I personally loved out of this movie is Piccolo is a babysitter. I thought that was hysterical. Of course, spoilers, Pan has been born, Videl and Gohan's newest child, which of course is Pan. If you've not seen the last moments of DBZ or GT, yes, Pan is the daughter of Gohan and the granddaughter of Goku, and I thought it was kind of funny to see that Piccolo babysits Pan. I just thought that was cute and funny. But overall, that's my honorable mentions for this list. Now it's time to get to the number one thing I loved from this movie, my top moment overall from Resurrection F, and that is, of course, Vegeta becoming a god. Yes, ever since Battle of Gods was done and Toriyama stated that he was going to make a part 2 to Battle of Gods, the number one thing we wanted was Vegeta becoming a god and beating the boss battle. I mean, granted, we kind of get that to a certain extent. I don't want to go to too much spoiler territory if you've not seen the movie, but overall, it was just nice to see Vegeta get his due. Vegeta just completely, like, has an ultimatum, which doesn't make that much sense, but overall, he gets the ultimatum to join Frieza or, continue to, or save Goku. He has that kind of mixed bag kind of opinion towards him. And then Vegeta just like, no, screw it, I'm just gonna kill you right now. And just like Frieza's like, how are you gonna beat me? I'm the one who killed you, don't you remember? And then bam, transformed to a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And I loved Chris Sabat's performance as he's a Super Saiyan God. I know a lot of people like to give the English dub actors crap, but I'm just saying, like, I'm all for the English Funimation dub. And I loved how Chris Sabat was just like, oh, you didn't know that I too have become a god. I just love that moment and their little talk between each other, and then just Vegeta just fucking dominates Frieza in like a couple punches and just beats the crap out of him as a Super Saiyan God. Hands down, the defining moment in that movie. Granted, I wish they could have went all the way with it to a certain extent, because once that moment happens, it kind of tricks you and making you think that, oh wow, this is the approach that they're going to go with the ending of the movie. And then of course it goes to a more conventional style of Dragon Ball Z, which depending on your personal preference, is good or bad. It really depends on what you think. But overall, hands down, Vegeta becoming a Super Saiyan God and then beating up Frieza definitely made that movie for me. It was definitely the most like third act moment that really made me go like, oh yes, as a hardcore Vegeta fanboy, this is like wanking material. This is fucking awesome. This is what I wanted. This is what we all wanted, and it doesn't go all the way, but I'm gonna take it anyways. That one shot of him fucking transforming, and then him just punching the shit out of Frieza, and like that one moment where like, spoilers, Frieza's like shooting energy balls at him, energy blasts at him and shit, and he's just taking it all, and like it's not affecting him, he's just walking towards him. Oh, I just love that moment. But overall, these are my top 5 moments and things that I loved from Resurrection F. Of course, this is a subjective list, so in the comments below, let me know what is your personal list of the top 5 best moments and personal things you loved from Resurrection F. Of course, if you got to see the movie during its limited theatrical release, let me know what your personal experience was watching the movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your personal thoughts are when you stack it up against Battle of Gods? Do you like Battle of Gods more, or are they pretty much equal? For me personally, I think they're pretty much equal. They both have amazing, awesome moments that make them badass movies, but they both have their equal flaws, which I will actually be getting to. Yes, there will be a part 2 to this top 5 list. This list was the best moments of Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F on a future episode of the Super Kaioken podcast, which of course is my Dragon Ball Z audio podcast. The next one, which will be more than likely next week, or at the end of this week, which is when I'll be uploading it, I'll be doing a part 2, and I'll be doing a top 5 worst moments of DBZ Resurrection F, the personal moments and things that I downright hated with Resurrection F. So if you want to know my personal thoughts on that list, definitely go to my Super Kaioken podcast, which is an upcoming episode, and check it out. But overall, comment below. Let me know what your personal thoughts are on Resurrection as a whole. Of course, I'll have some cards and, shameless plugs, so you can check out some other videos that are Dragon Ball Z related and Resurrection F related. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Joshua12. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. Hope you guys enjoyed overall. And this has been Joshua12.